today. It's Mrs. Clopton. I'm right here in our Allenbrook Library, and I just bought this book yesterday at Phoenix Books in Essex. It's brand new. It came out in 2020. That's the year we're in. It's called Saturdays Are for Stella. And at the top it says, Grandmas make everything better. I sure feel that way about my grandma. This book is by Candy Wellens, and the illustrator is Charlie Eve Ryan. And the publishing company, it's right here at the back of the book. Publishing company is Page Street Publishing. They gave us permission to read this story today. Now sometimes when I have a brand spanking new book, I like to look at the front cover and I like to look at the back cover. It looks like they're having a high five with spoons and they're sharing a delicious sundae. Oh, what are they doing here? They're dancing. And sometimes when I take off the cover of the book, the pictures are same and different. These look like they're different, don't they? Right here, it looks like this little guy has maybe a baby sister that lives there sharing an ice cream. And maybe that's his baby sister? Saturdays for Stella. Let's find out. There's our title page. Saturdays Are for Stella by Page Street Kids. George. Oh, that must be George. George loved Saturdays. Saturdays were for Stella. Oh, they're having something tasty. Those look good. Sometimes George and Stella went out on Saturdays. To the park, to the dinosaur museum. Wait, who's Stella? Oh, you think it's the grandma? I think you're right. And sometimes even as far as downtown. Normally, George did not like going downtown. Downtown trips without Stella meant waiting in boring offices, eating strange foods, and trying on scratchy clothes. But with Stella, George ate frozen yogurt, threw pennies in fountains, and rode on carousels. Whenever they passed a toy store, and they always passed a toy store, George went home with something fun. Looks like he got a toy plane. Have you ridden on one of those before where you put coins inside and it goes round and round? My grandma and grandpa used to take me and ride on those. Oh, sometimes George and Stella stayed in on Saturdays, hosting ninja tournaments, fighting off alien attacks. Okay, those are really great costumes. And sometimes doing really unusual things too. Oh, this looks like a topiary. They're trimming this particular tree. Those are nice round spheres. Stella knew how to make cinnamon rolls without popping open a tube. She owned giant flat frisbees and could get them to play music. Those are records, actually. You may not have seen any of those before. And she never ever tired of reading George's favorite books, listening to his favorite jokes, or admiring his growing collection of bouncy balls. Have you had a homemade from scratch cinnamon roll? They sure are good. Oh. George kept a running list about the best things about Stella. Number 1, the way her arms wrap me in the biggest, best hugs when I need them most. Number 2, the way she loves the way she loves doing everything with me. And number 3, and also doing nothing at all. Oh, snuggles with your grandma. One Saturday, George woke up late. He dressed himself and packed a big bag with everything he might need for a day with Stella. When he walked downstairs, he found his parents still in their pajamas. What do you notice? Yeah, they're crying. Dad's eyes were red, and Mom's nose was all stuffy. George kept his distance. He didn't want to catch a cold on a Saturday. Saturdays were for Stella. But then Dad explained that it wasn't a cold that made his eyes red. And Mom explained why George couldn't see Stella today or any other Saturday. From then on, George hated Saturdays. Can you think what might have happened? Yeah. It makes me sad. This page makes me sad. It's sad to lose someone you love. He tried to focus on remembering Stella, but it was hard. His parents tried to help, but carousel rides made him queasy, and cinnamon rolls tasted sad, and even his friends' jokes made him cry. So George used a big black pen to cross out all the Saturdays on his calendar. His parents started marking their calendar too, and soon there were more trips downtown than ever before. George didn't have to eat funny foods or try on scratchy clothes, but there was plenty of waiting in boring offices. Do you notice that Mom's shape is changing? And though they often stopped at the toy store on the way home, George never went home with anything fun. Just when George thought he couldn't take another Saturday, Stella arrived. This a new Stella. She wasn't exactly like his Stella, but there was something strangely familiar about her. It's a baby sister. Now George doesn't have time to be sad on Saturdays. He's too busy going out with Stella to the park, to the dinosaur museum, and sometimes even as far as downtown. George has introduced her to the wonders of frozen yogurt, fountains, and carousel rides. She's getting bigger. Sometimes George and Stella stay in on Saturdays. They have ninja tournaments and fight off alien invasions, but sometimes they throw dance parties and tea parties too. George always makes a batch of cinnamon rolls to share. One Saturday, George makes a list of his favorite things about Stella. Number 1, the way her arms wrap me in the biggest, best hugs when I need them most. Number 2, the way she loves doing everything with me. And number 3, also doing nothing at all. These things sound familiar. George loves Saturdays. Saturdays are for Stella. Both Stellas. Little Stella and Grandma Stella. What a great new book. I hope you enjoyed this story. Have a great day today. I'll see you soon.